What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwan, and I am back with Being Mary Jane, Season 1, Episode 7. Hindsight is 2040. I did not say this, but please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. And please make sure you guys are liking up all the videos so I can stay in the algorithm of things. Yada, yada, yada. Okay? So the episode starts with Mary Jane and Andre. He's quiet. He walks in the door quiet. They're sitting eating. He's not saying a word. He's acting funny. So she was like, "What's up? What you got going on?" He tells her he ran into an old friend. Basically, the dude sent him a picture, and in the background was a picture of Mary Jane and David dancing really close. So at this point, he's now questioning if she's still messing around with David. He tells her, I'm blowing up my life for you. And I was like, Andre, you have some nerve. You lied to this lady. Let's be all the way clear. You lied to her. Anyway, Mary Jane said, you blowing up your life? And so she was like, you should be blowing up your life because your marriage sucks, but not for me. So Charlie get to arguing back and forward. Mary Jane said, you want me to read? He was like, you want me to read the text? He yelling. She was like, yeah, read the text. So the text says, Daddy, when are you coming home? Daddy, where are you? He said, this is what I have to deal with, but you're dealing with this by choice. These was your choices. So these are the consequences of your choices. Okay. So she tells him, tell him the truth. Where they think you are, Zimbabwe? So he tells her, in your expert opinion, please tell me, how do you want me to handle this with my kids? She said, the truth. There's a thought, okay? She says, she was like, hey kids, I'm getting a divorce from your mother. And at this point, I just feel like Andre doesn't want to take responsibility, like you're acting like you're conflicted on where you want to be. Now you're mad at her over here. And I just don't understand. Again, this is all you're doing. This is your responsibility. You was the one who stepped out on your marriage. You lied to this woman. And you've made this woman believe that you was never married. You didn't have a whole family. But you had a whole life. You did all of this on this lady. I feel like you're doing all of this anyway because low-key, you don't want to leave Avery. You want to have your cake and eat it too. But you know what they say, that's what you do with cake. But you want to have the real thing is caked. You want to have your cake and eat it too. Eat it and cake, okay? That's what that meant. You can't have that. You can't have your Mary Jane and your Avery too. Sir, please get up out of our face with this stupidity, okay? So Andre yells and said, I'm going to tell them. She said, when? He said, basically, so basically this whole thing is because he thinks she have something going on with David. Sir, you're the cheater. You're the manipulator. You're the liar, not her. You keep trying to turn this around on her. So Andre leaves and she walks behind him. So, but we can't have a grown-up conversation and yada, yada, yada. So she pushed him. I was like, girl, you got to keep your hands to yourself. So then he turned around. It was almost he had a ghost moment. Okay, so he got in her face, kind of like he was doing Tasha. He got in her face and he got in the car and left. And she started crying and apologizing. Wait, don't leave. I'm sorry. Girl, why are you apologizing? Just why? But whatever. Hey, I wouldn't, but, you're a better woman than me. Anyway, the next morning, Andre is outside. He's sleeping in his car. He wakes up. He goes into the house. Mary Jane asks him, where did you go last night? He said, I took a drive. Okay, Andre. She tells him that they can't ravel under the same roof. She thinks that he needs to go find his own place. He tells her we had a fight. That's what couples do. They fight. So do couples leave? But in your case, when people fight, you cheat. So, sir, good. Please leave me alone. So PJ comes over to Mary Jane's house. He tells her, the cops are looking for him. Mary Jane gives this judgmental speech and then decides she want to turn the situation on her and her family and say it's about us. His doing affects everybody. And it's like, girl, this affects him and him only. This your problem. You always want to take over. Please stop. So Daddy Paul goes to Patrick, tells him, they talk about the drug test. He tells Patrick he would test, I'm going to test you weekly moving forward. Patrick was like, listen, I'm moving out because I ain't got time, okay, for y'all testing me, treat me like I'm some little kid. So Daddy Patterson was like, you know what, we can't rescue you again. So if you leave, then that's on you. Whatever. I ain't gonna be tested wherever I go. He was like, I told you I did it that one time. Ever since then, I ain't do it again. But you know they say, you know what they say? You can't trust the crack kid. I'm just telling you what they say. So Mary Jane gives Andre a key to her place. They're in the bathroom talking, and she was like, I got a gift for you. Go give him a key. He asked, are you sure? And she was like, couples fight all the time, right? And she said, and couples make up. But this is her not standing on big business. Okay? You didn't stand on big business. So now you went back on your word when you knew this man is not, because it's knowing that, y'all, I know it is. It's knowing that you ain't supposed to be with this man, but you gonna do whatever it takes, because when you're happy, when you're good, that adrenaline is good. That pain is eased. Okay? I'm just telling you what I went through. Okay? Long time ago. So Mama Patterson calls Mary Jane to tell her, Pat is moving out, and I want to know why. And so she tells her, well, where would he go? And this is the judgmental part. You didn't ask out of concern. You asked out of judgment. There is a huge difference, So then we get over to Detective Rollins. He tells Andre, basically it was almost like, I can't help him. I can't help PJ. But they have a separate conversation because he tells PJ to leave. He starts to talk about Avery. He tells Andre, you need to be around your kids. That Mary Jane woman basically ain't going to settle for you, your wife, and your kids, and what y'all have going on. And Avery, you decided to let him know that Avery went out with another man, and as she should. Okay, I don't understand. So Nisa is asking Lisa about the tubal ligation, and she tells her, I only do it for people 25 and up. Nisa was like, listen, I just want to know if you do it or not. Can you do mine? And I want you to do it because I trust you. But at the same time, well, Lisa wasn't the one who told, but it was the grandmother who said something. Mama Patterson was the one who mentioned it to Mary Jane. And so Mary Jane felt like, because I'm paying for these visits, I need to go talk to Lisa. And Lisa is on some client privilege type stuff because she's licensed and you know better. But you feel like you can get a pass because you put your money down. That's what aggravates me about Mary Jane. She tells Nisi, there are other options. She doesn't want other options. She wants to have her tubes tied. Point blank in the period. Nisi is 19, if y'all didn't know, and on her second child. So Mary Jane finds out David has a girlfriend. She's a lady in one of the magazine covers. Fine. Kara, her ex, and her kids sit down to talk. He tells her ex-husband, John, tells the little boy, tell her what you told me last night. The kids look a little hesitant, and I just don't understand how they feel like they can talk to their mama any kind of way, because, I'm sorry. Anyway, the little boy tells her, you're not showing up, you're not doing, you're bringing us to school early in the morning. We don't see you at the games. And y'all acting like this lady out here doing drugs or something. This lady have to work. And what don't make it no better, and how I know Kara told John, you have this rehearsed. You did this. And he was like, no. Yes, you did. You're mad because you cheated on that woman. That woman left you. And now I feel like you want to make her pay, but you want to make her pay through these kids. That's not okay. So instead of you backing her up as the co-parent, you tell her, oh, I want the kids full time. This is what you wanted all along. You really don't want him. You just want to make her pay. You want to make her pay because she left you because you cheated on her. You cheated on her. You did. I'm sorry. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. The way I would take you to court And the way you backed up your children, like, I'm not saying you can't back up your children, but what I will say is, if they was feeling as strongly about it, you could have just taken care of side, and even without Kara being there, and be like, you know what, guys, your mom has to work, but we can't sit down and have a conversation. And y'all could have came up with a schedule. Like, you take them, if I'm working these times, and you take them here. But here is the thing. What do you want her to do? You're divorced. She's no longer with you. So how is she supposed to make money? How is she supposed to make money? She's supposed to depend on you? Like, that aggravated me so bad, y'all. That aggravated me so bad. So Andre gets home to the house he have with Avery. He sits downstairs in like the little hallway area where they hang up the clothes or whatever. And he hears all the commotion that's going on upstairs. He sits there for a while. And then instead of going upstairs, he actually decides to leave out of the door. And I'm like, oh my God. So, we get back to Mama Patterson. We get to Mama Patterson's house. And so Mary Jane is talking to Niecy about the tubal ligation situation. And she was like, you keep having all of these babies. And, most people like you in your age, they are in school. They're getting, degrees. They're getting trade. And at this point, Mary Jane, of course, is still being her judgmental self. Did she lie to Niecy? No, because you need to be in school. You too young to be having these kids. You need to be trying to get your education, and then you think about having kids. But again, that's not how Niecy's life went. She had the kids. They're here. It is what it is. So you don't have to be on board with it. But constantly putting stuff like, like beating her upside the head with this is not going to work. Okay? So, Niecy was like, they get jobs, they get careers, then they have families. She was like, oh, I'm sorry. I am tired, y'all. So, Niecy was like you? And so, Niecy said, listen, where are your kids? Where's your man? Where is your happy ending? Mary Jane said, I'm fine. I'm happy with my life. Girl, that is cap, and you know it. Because this little girl may be over here, but you, ma'am, are miserable. And you take it out on your family. And you want a man. You've done everything you needed to do. You're mad at the world. You're mad at Niecy because I feel like you're really mad at her because she's pregnant and she has 2 babies, even at her age. But you try to deflect and try to make it seem like I'm not mad at her because of that. You're ultimately mad at her because she have kids, and that's something you want. But the problem is the man that you want don't want you. Let's be clear. And the other man is married, so he's not even for you. But he's trying to string you along with these things, with the ring, with the proposal, with the apartment. I'm just saying. Like, I'm just saying. So, Niecy was like, listen, maybe I'm not the only one that's deluding. Because that's you. Because she told Niecy she was delusional. Basically, you were deluding. No, she's not. You are. So, Mary Jane goes upstairs and talks to her mom. She tells her mom, I'm having an affair with a married man. And every time I try to leave, I get sucked back in. She tells her mom tells her, cry about it tonight because you have to make it right in the morning. I was like, okay, Mama Patterson. All right. So, Mary Jane and Andre sit down and have a conversation. She tells Andre, I've been the B word in these past couple of days, but I realized that I really need to talk to you. And I'm just want to make this clear. You have always been a B word since episode 1. Okay? This ain't just now. Okay? I just want to point that out. So, she was like, I can't do this anymore. He gets angry. Andre gets mad. Sir, you know you're wrong. She tells him, you don't love me. We're basically just trying to make the shoe fit. So basically, she wear a 5, he wear a 10, and everybody trying to wear a 7 shoe together. And that's not working. Okay? So they try to attempt to have schmicks. And she stops and she tells him, I can't do it. And she pushes him off of her. So y'all over in the Patterson's house. Mama Patterson and Daddy Patterson are getting ready for bed. They're in the bed. Okay. So she sits up. She was like, Paul, are you having an affair with Catherine? And so he was like, listen, I thought about it, but no. And, she speak her speech, basically, I ain't the one, if you do what you need to do, yada, yada, yada. And he said, you stuck with me. I ain't going nowhere, woman, because I love you. And let me tell y'all what happened next, okay? Richard Roundtree and what's her name? Suge Avery do the nasty. I was like, kill the visual, Jesus. Kill the visual. I wasn't mad at it, but I was like, Jesus, kill the visual. Okay? Okay? Because the Pattersons, Mama and Daddy Patterson, are doing it. Alright. Get your man back. So anyway, Andre and Mary Jane are laying in the bed. Their backs are facing one another. And it's the next morning. They talk about, what they should do. She was like, you need to go back to Avery. So they try to, part ways on a more positive term, I guess. And so the next morning, he leaves. He gets his things. He tells her, I'll be back to get the rest of my things. But when he came to get the rest of his things, she was at work. So he was watching her segment, the rest of her segment. And he wrote her a note that says, good luck unraveling. And this is where the episode ends. And I'm going to say this, I think I said this earlier, but it's really hard to break it off with someone who has your heart. It is hard. It is hard. Even though this is something you have to do in the midst of all of this, you have to understand what is more important. And it's hard because nobody wants to feel the feels. Nobody wants to feel the hurt and the pain that sits in your heart. You really love somebody. Like, that's a hard thing. It's hard to let people go. It's easy to stay in a place that is so comfortable. So, no. I feel like when you know what's important, as you start to grow, you realize what's important to you. And you realize it's either me or them. And you can't keep continuing to put your feelings on the line because it hurts. It hurts every time. And every time that person comes back, it gets harder every time you leave. And every time you walk away, whenever that person returns and you decide to let them back in, when it's time to walk away, it's even harder to come out of it. It's harder. So I do understand. I get it. I get her gripe. I get her heart because I was that person, It's not an easy place to be in. But in the end, it causes lots of pain. It takes a lot of energy from you. But it causes a lot of pain for the next person to come in. So if this is you, and I don't know who I'm talking to, but it's important, like, you really have to leave this situation. You do. If it's not serving you, if it's hurting you, if you're not gaining anything out of it, if you know that it's time to go, you have to find your strength and you have to come up out of it. Okay? I just wanted to say that to somebody. All right. This is not Erica. This is Kiwan and I am signing off. Okay?